Tattoos, here we go. How about that? If you got a tattoo, and people just rolling their sleeves down. I should have done that picture, Jacob, with no regrets or whatever that guy got. He thought he misspelled regrets. That's a true story. It's a great meme, but it really is a true story. No regrets. I think he may have done it on purpose. I don't know, but it definitely is the best picture I've ever seen. Are tattoos a sin? I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand if you have a tattoo. But the quick answer is this. It's not a sin as long as you have a Catholic. No, it's not that. It's not that. Tattoos are not sin. They're not sin. Now, early on, there was teaching that tattoos were sin. They get this reference from the book of Leviticus chapter 19, where it says this, just real quickly. It says, don't put a tattoo or marks on yourself. I am the Lord. And this was a referral in the law to what they had back in the day, which was pagan worship, Egyptian pagan worship. And they would tattoo themselves. Matter of fact, if you look at hieroglyphics and you see all the stuff of, all the things they have painted in pyramids or wherever, you've seen that your whole life. You look at that language and that stuff, those are given for reasons so they can call out to God. They would paint and tattoo themselves the same way, whether it's the Ra or whatever, the god of grain, and they would put these pagan marks. And then even when they died, they would put these pagan marks hoping they'd make it to the afterlife. This is what it's teaching here. It says tattoos for the dead. Then people would have a family member that died. Then they'd put tattoos on their body so that they would, for the intention, so that they would go to heaven. Now, there's some of you that have got tattoos before that are, because you love your mom or something she said, or she loved butterflies and you've got a tattoo in honor of her. That is not being tattooed for the dead. They did it literally to save them. Tattoos are not a sin. And people ask me all the time, do you have a tattoo? And I don't. I don't have a tattoo. I'll never get a tattoo. And never is a big word. I know it is. But there's a reason for that. And ultimately, it's because I have really saggy skin. So that's why I'm not going to. I've always joked about if I did, I'd get golden arches like right here above my waistline. And then bend over in the beach and play with the grandkids and just see what people said. But I'm not going to do that either. I do love McDonald's. Either way, throwing that out there. But the warning against pagan practices is what it's talking about there. Here's what I encourage people when it comes to tattoos, because you're saying, well, why wouldn't you get a tattoo? I'm not going to. It's my choice. But I hope you get one. I hope you love your ink. But here's what I tell everyone before you get one. Number one is this. If you're still living under the roof of the leadership of your home and your parents, do what your parents say, bottom line. Your parents say no tattoo, what do you say? Yes, sir. Y'all good with that? I'm trying to teach my grandkids yes, sir, right now. And yes, ma'am. I just think it sounds good. I think leaders say yes, sir, and yes, ma'am. People are like, oh, you're just trying to kiss patootie or whatever. No, it's not. It's just called respect and honor, and God blesses you when you respect and honor authority. And so I just say, yes, sir. When you leave the house, it's college. You're like, I'm free of my parents, I'm going to get a tattoo. I always encourage you to wait until you're married. Because your spouse could be offended potentially by that tattoo, or potential spouse. Wait, and then ask your spouse. And then your spouse says yay or nay, then I would go from there. Also, I'd ask yourself this question. What's your motive? What's your motive? You're trying to draw attention to things shouldn't be drawn attention to, blah, 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 blah. And here's another one. Just know this, rebellion is a sin. So if you're rebelling against anything to get a tattoo, it's sin. Here's another thing I think of, location of the tattoo. Just throwing that out there, it could affect some career paths. I mean, it's a true statement. There are people that aren't hired due to locations of tattoo. Everybody's like, I like Post Malone, I'm going after it. All right, go ahead. There are some jobs that you'll never have because you can't travel internationally and do business in some countries with tattoos. I remember the first time I went to where everybody goes when you go to Japan, and I went to Tokyo Disney because God called me to swing by and see what it's like at Disney. So I went to Tokyo Disney for a prayer mission trip. No, I just went. And there was a friend of mine that went too, and he had a Boston Celtics ankle tattoo. He walks into the park and they stopped him. Said, you can't come in with the Boston Celtics. I was like, I told you they're the worst team ever. Other than Robert Parrish. He was pretty amazing. And Larry Bird. Either way, you go back. They made him put a big old bandage on his ankle because he couldn't go in because they didn't want public tattoos shown. Now, I'm just saying. You're like, well, forget y'all. Okay, you can do that too. He wore a big old bandage and loved every minute of Tokyo Disney. But it could affect it. Number 6, our distinction in God's kingdom. You got to make sure that you're able to make a declaration where you're not inhibited and embarrassed. Just think about it. By the way, I think there's some beautiful tattoos. Some of my children have tattoos. Many in my family have tattoos. I think they're beautiful. And just know this, you're free in Christ. Get all the tattoos you want, top to bottom, head to toe, forehead, back of your ankle, Achilles. I don't care where you do it. Lips, eyelids. Just go. Get all you want. Because you're free in Christ to do so, and I want you to enjoy it. But I'm never getting one.